Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Mike Gormley Show and our guest, Stephen Kravitz, who's got stories all over the place from the film world, from his position as Executive Vice President of Business and Legal Affairs, which sounds a bit dry, but keep listening. There's some good stories floating around here. Recently, it was announced that the people who had owned the Bond franchise all these years has given it up, has handed it over. Who did it go to, and why do you think they did that?
It went to Amazon, and the story around town is that Barbara Broccoli was quoted in one of the trades as saying, the people at Amazon, the creatives at Amazon are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. And the head of Amazon, the owner, saw that and sent a note down to get them out, buy them out. I don't care what it takes. And Michael was looking to retire because Michael's 83 now.
Michael who?
Michael Wilson, excuse me, of course.
Okay. All right.
Michael Wilson's 83, and he played a very large role with Barbara Broccoli, who was in her 60s, not ready to retire, but she would have if she had to. And Michael was very instrumental in many ways in the script portions of the Bond films, more so than Barbara. And neither of Michael's two sons were in a position to take his place. So if Michael was going to retire, Barbara was, wondering how to deal with what to do. And although Cubby had told Michael and Barbara not to let any third party, can I say it, fuck up the Bond films, that they could fuck it up, but not let anybody else do it. When they got offered the enormous amount of money that they were each offered for their share, Michael said yes, and Barbara said yes, and that's what happened.
But that's what it takes these days to get things going. It's just kind of too bad. I guess they're part of the whole Bond thing. And
well, yes, considering that years back, going back to 1976, was it? I was, for United Artists, designated to, and I did, acquire Harry Saltzman's interest in the Bond films. Harry had margin calls on his attempts to take over to take over Technicolor and a couple of the other stocks that were related to the film business, and he needed money. And so he needed $50 million. There was at least $100 million sitting in a joint bank account in Switzerland, a company called Danjak SA. And we paid him the $50 million, got his interest, and pledged that to a bank for the $50 million that we gave to Harry. So we basically bought the cow with its own milk.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting, when you go into international business, you're wise to have a local international lawyers involved. And I didn't know who to use, so I went to the legal directory called Martindale and Hubble and looked up Switzerland, Geneva, and found this firm called Kravit et Pachu. It was a small 2-person firm. I liked that, and I used them as our lawyers. And it turned out that they were also Charlie Chaplin's personal representatives. So that's how I got to meet Charlie Chaplin. But I ended up buying Harry out completely. And then when Cubby needed money, he asked, because they gambled quite a bit, Harry and Cubby, they would both gamble periodically and lose money and gain money. And at some point, Cubby needed money, and I said no, he couldn't have it. So his lawyers then contacted me, and we worked out a deal whereby I gave Cubby total ownership. We had perpetual distribution rights plus an increased interest in the distribution proceeds.
Mm.
So once again, I had made millions and many millions for people I worked for.
Well, one assumes you're getting paid pretty well, but maybe not on that scale.
But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was 20. I worked almost 24-hour days for 7 days straight in a row to get this all done.
Yeah.
And I did it on handwritten pieces of paper.
Really?
That were heads of agreement that were never superseded.
They were formalized, but not changed.
I don't think they were ever formalized. I think they stayed the way they were, and no changes. But they said everything that needed to be said. Who owned what?
Yeah, exactly. We're running out of time. We're going into another commercial for a little bit. On the way in, we're going to be listening to a great song, Mrs. Robinson by Simon and Garfunkel. And you picked that track. I'd like to find out why when we come back. It's the Mike Gormley Show. Thanks for listening, everyone.